What? My hair's all messed up still.
That's all right. Welcome to First World. My chair's messed up. First World Third Rails. I'm your host, Marlon, aka Mayhem, with none other than JD, aka JD.
I'm ready. Okay. All right. What you got?
Happy Friday. Happy September 1st. Happy football is back. We're not in fall technically yet, but we'll be there shortly.
That is so true. I guess we have 2 more days at the pool.
And the party is over.
The party's over.
How you doing, partner?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good.
I'm actually making progress on some of my stuff, so that brings me great joy.
I'm coming to you today just outside the super blue moon. I'm somewhere between the moon and the earth.
But you know what? I can see you out there.
In New York City.
Can you see me? I'm waving. Wave back to me.
I'm somewhere between the moon, earth, and New York City.
Here's a song which I am not going to sing.
Right. From the movie Arthur, Dudley Moore, one of my favorites. Why
do you get caught? Shut up.
Yeah, right. Wow, we're in Q. Are we still in Q? No, not yet. We're not Q4 yet. Into Q3.
October, November, December. So we're still in Q3.
Q3. Into the summer. Labor Day was always depressing for me, man, because I hated the end of the summer when I was younger. Now I don't care. Now I'm looking at my scroll and it says 59 degrees and cloudy, and I absolutely love it.
The kids are back in school here, so
yeah. Everybody's starting to do their back to school pictures, and I'm like, hey, congratulations. Time stands still for no one.
Time waits for no one. All these old songs,
except for me.
Like you just think one or two words.
Time is obviously standing still for me. What do we got today? Do we have any good third rails we want to touch today and electrocute ourselves and our audience?
Well, I love yes, I have tons.
Well,
religion, race, marriage, going back to work. I think going back to work is a big one. I'm eventually going to explain to the few people who actually watch this show what the fuck is happening in this country, because I feel like I can see it. I feel like it's visible.
I think we can all see it. I've seen it all summer, and it's painful.
But you remember yesterday I read you about that? It's called a bull, which is a pronouncement by the Pope back in 1542. Yeah, I think you can trace almost all of this back to the entitlement associated with white people and Christianity.
Nah.
That's why I never get to explain it, because you're always like, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, you are wrong.
You're wrong.
You are wrong. It doesn't go all the way back then. It might in part go all the way back there, but it doesn't go all the way back there. I can simplify it, sum it up very easily. Corporate greed is what it is. At the core of what we are experiencing right now is none other than greed. Now, there might be a sense of entitlement attached to that goes back to that period, but we live in today, September 1st, 2023.
Corporate greed did not manifest the original precept. Corporate greed is kind of like a magician on stage saying, in other words, they're using what we do, what we think, the way we react, the way we behave to manipulate us using sleight of hand. And that's where corporate greed comes in. It's like,
there's no sleight of hand to me.
You're a free person.
No, there's no bullshit. There's no sleight of hand to me. I see everything that's happening. I'm living it. I'm right at ground zero. I've been at ground zero since the 1st of March.
Well, I can grab that 600-year third rail anytime, so we can come back to it later, since I'm wrong. We could talk about corporations, but you and I have had issues on corporations in the past.
We have?
Yes, especially around the NFL. I'm like, you're
That's a
like, the
different story.
NFL is a wonderful organization. I'm like, the NFL is just a bunch of old white fuckers who are doing this thing I'm talking about, the
Name
sleight
me
of hand.
another name.
I bring you
No,
entertainment.
oh, dude.
Oh,
You
yeah,
are
dude.
you. Let's not talk about the NFL because you. I love you, but you are woefully out of your depth on the NFL. There's no sleight of hand. The NFL, I don't know anybody who knows football at the level I do that doesn't understand the NFL is printing money on Fifth Avenue in New York. They're not sleight of hand in anything. We are who we are. We own what we own, and we make what we make.
And the NFL is apple pie and the Army.
Well, they are. They're America's new
Who
game.
paid for that flyover?
It's America's new game. Baseball's done.
I would be able to counter that, except I have not seen a single baseball. I saw one in my basement, which is one of my
Baseball
old baseballs.
cannot compare to the NFL. No other sport can compare to the NFL because no other sport is posing the proposition that we make their championship match a federal holiday. Come on, man.
Oh, when
Get
did
outta
that
here.
happen? I hadn't heard that.
Oh God, they've been talking about that forever.
Oh, well, who are they and how long is
Everyone, every talking head has talked about this every year when it comes up because the Super Bowl productivity in American corporations the day after the Super Bowl is so low because people are tired. They go to parties. I don't go to Super Bowl parties, haven't been to one in a long time because I, unlike 98% of the world's population, according to my better half, watch the game. I don't care about parties for the Super Bowl. I watch the game.
all
But
4 minutes of it?
there has been a long-standing narrative that it should be a federal holiday. I don't want to see the game moved. So no, we don't move it to Saturday. We don't move it to Friday. It stays on Sunday. And to be honest with you, and I know you know how much I love the NFL, and I absolutely love the NFL, love the Super Bowl, have seen every single one going back to the Packers freaking Chiefs in Super Bowl one. I love the NFL, but if there were a federal holiday to be instituted, it's not the Super Bowl. I love you, peeps. I love the NFL, but it's not that. Voting, election day should be a holiday so everyone can go and exercise their right to vote without having to worry about their job. So if it's a toss up between the Super Bowl and election day gets my vote as much as I love the NFL and the Super Bowl.
I happen to think that is an excellent point.
Yes.
I completely agree with you. What else you got?
Just to put a bow on that, no other league anywhere prints money like the NFL does. And I had to correct the Dallas beat writer who I'm connected to on Twitter. I like him. He's a good dude by all appearances. I think he's here in the Pacific Northwest too. Huge Cowboy fan. I don't know if he's a beat writer, but he's a huge Cowboy fan. Everything he tweets, he's at the training camps and all that crap. So I guess he is a beat writer. He made a tweet yesterday that I had to correct. And you know me, man. I see stuff. If it registers, it registers. If it doesn't, odds are Marlon's going to just ignore you and move on. But this one yesterday, I couldn't ignore. I couldn't move on because it was inaccurate. And his tweet basically said he was happy that Sunday Ticket went to YouTube, and it's cheaper on YouTube than it was on DirecTV. And I said, look, dude, I respect you, I appreciate you, but you're incorrect. I've been a Sunday Ticket subscriber on DirecTV. As people who know me know, when I got divorced many moons ago, I called DirecTV before I called my lawyer. That's how long I've been a DirecTV subscriber and a Sunday Ticket subscriber. And I've never paid to Direct what I'm paying to YouTube, ever. So he is incorrect. Bottom line, though, whether it's DirecTV or YouTube, NFL is just
Do you
printing
have
money.
I'm imagining you have like the full Monty. You have the every single thing that YouTube offers you've got.
No. I just did Sunday Ticket in Red Zone. I didn't do YouTube TV because I don't watch YouTube TV.
No, I was wondering if in this NFL package there are different levels and you got the most
You can get.
exotic level.
I got the.
Because he might have
Yeah.
been talking about the base package. Is that the same or is that also more expensive on YouTube?
That is also more expensive on YouTube. The
Slam dunk.
the starting base package on YouTube was above $400. I've never paid $400 to DirecTV for Sunday Ticket.
$400.
And I'm unemployed paying for. Not only that, I got to go out.
On the bright side, you've got things to do now, right?
Not only that, I got to go out tomorrow and upgrade some of my equipment. So that's going to cost me yet even more money than I probably shouldn't be spending.
You say your professional equipment or your TV watching equipment?
TV watching equipment.
What you getting? What you getting? What's going on?
I need to. So on one, I've got to go and replace it with a smart TV so I can get the YouTube app, because I'm going to need the YouTube app. One of the secondary.
Okay. Hold on.
One of the secondary TVs in my man cave is not a smart TV. It's older.
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to say something, and then you're welcome to say you're wrong. But I'll be right.
You're wrong. Okay, go.
I like a preemptive one.
Yeah, that was a preemptive. You're wrong.
Get a Roku.
Nah. I'd rather get a new TV.
I'd rather buy a new TV than spend $20 on a Roku.
Yeah. What's a Roku going to do for me? Nothing.
The Roku is the smart part of the smart TV. It's the smart part of the smart TV that you can put on any TV.
I'd rather spend a couple of $100 to get 4K. Because the secondary TV is not.
That's a separate issue. That's a completely separate issue.
The second TV.
So you would say, in order to keep me from being right, you would say, oh, well, I'm not really concerned about the smart TV aspect. I just expect it to be a smart TV as I'm purchasing it now. And in fact, my primary objective is the 4K.
No, the primary objective is the apps. But as long as I'm purchasing the new TV to get the apps, I might as well turn it into a 4K TV since I have 4K capability.
Well, you know what I think we just proved to our viewing audience of none?
We don't know what the hell we're doing.
No, there's nothing we can't turn into a third rail.
That's right. Extremely good point.
And what the hell is the matter with you going out buying a whole new TV when you get I need 4K.
And then I need to replace my main system as it is. The picture's starting to degrade. I've got just the thinnest of white lines.
It's worn out, man. Just let it rest.
Yeah. So I'll do that.
Well, have you ever used an Etch-a-Sketch?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just turn your TV upside down.
Shake it a little bit. It'll be all right.
And it'll be fine. Yeah, all the little pixels will fall down and
I keep promising you that I'm gonna snag one of those lists that I see on social media all the time. Have you ever done this? Have you ever used this?
Use that.
And it's stuff on the list like Sony Walkman. I think the last list I saw was a 3.5-inch floppy drive. They wouldn't know what a 5 1/4 is. No one knows what the hell that is, except you and I. You and I met when we
I took delivery of the original PC.
Yes, same here.
No hard drive.
First computer.
No hard drive.
First computer I ever owned, I built. It was an IBM AT286 class clone that I built from the ground up. I think if I remember right.
Well, now we can talk about anything, Marlon, because we absolutely, positively have absolutely zero viewers. Nobody's with us anymore.
I don't care.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I think if memory serves me correctly, that first PC had a 40 megabyte hard drive in it.
Oh man, that was huge.
I've
That
got a
was
phone
gargantuan.
here. I've got a phone here that has 100 times more.
Yeah, 40 meg was gargantuan.
Yeah, you were rolling with 40 meg. Are you kidding? I'm like, what am I to do with all this? 40 megabytes.
Fill it up.
Oh my
That's what you're going to do with
God,
it. You're going to fill
man.
it up.
Oh my God. And just for our viewers, the 2, 3 who remain, in comparison, that 40 megabyte hard drive, everybody knows I'm a gamer. Call of Duty is the hot game that we play, and have consistently played. Call of Duty does this thing where they relaunch a season. So they just relaunched season 5, and we had to download that season relaunch Wednesday.
How big was it?
40 megabyte hard drive in my first 40 meg in my first computer. The file for that season relaunch was 119 gigabytes. And I've got to store that on my internal hard drive, which I could do without even blinking. So I tell people this all the time. My Xbox, and I have one of the new Xboxes, has more compute power than most cloud servers I've spec'd in my 15 years of spec'ing cloud servers.
The
How did we get
bare
here?
metal ones, the infrastructure ones.
How did we get here?
Slowly, quickly. It feels like it was quickly, but in retrospect, it took a long time. Took
It feels
decades.
it feels like it was quickly.
Where was I? It is a mystery how people get so smart, like a Gates or somebody like that. And we speculated they might be going back in time somehow. Like
Right.
Oh my God, if I could be reincarnated to that moment when that PC appeared on my desk, because I was put in charge of it, because I was the only one who was even remotely interested. They're like, hey, we got some IBM PCs. What should we do with them? And give it to JD.
That clone.
And that changed the arc of my life.
That clone that I built, I can so relate to that statement. That clone that I built, I built that same year, I built an Apple Talk network interfacing with an HP VAX machine for, I know. If I had to do that today, I'd be lost. But I had the comprehension skills to do that back.
I used to do the coax, strip it off, pull the metal back, run the coax through the rafter, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
I saw something the other day I thought was pretty good. It was some people row, some people sail.
Okay.
So a person who makes it look easy, technically they're sailing. What's that?
I'm a descendant of slaves, so I'm a rower.
I'm a rower as well. I've always been like, I have
but
an
slavery
idea.
Was good for me. Don't forget that part.
Oh, I won't forget that part. I actually read an absolutely fascinating article just this morning about 23andMe now has enough information that they're able to trace the lineage of some of the original slaves.
Oh, good.
It's incredible. But what I was going to say is that I really took that to heart, because all my life I've done fairly well. It would really be obnoxious if I were to, gripe about any aspect of my life, apart from the fact that I'm not independently wealthy. I call it terminal velocity, the same way that the spaceship gets to 7 miles per second and it actually is able to loose the bonds of Earth's gravity and go into space. And then technically you've achieved terminal velocity and you're no longer constrained by gravity. So I've never managed that. I've never managed to be out from under. But I really like that rowing and sailing analogy, because some people do it naturally. But then if you're like, oh, what is that? And I'm like, oh, that's a sailboat. I'm like, oh, how does that work? Well, they're being pushed by the wind. Oh, what does that mean? That means you don't make up your own shit and go out with oars. You just take a look on the horizon. And you look at some of the characteristics of what's pushing things along. And that actually had a lot to do with my immediate switch to artificial intelligence. And I don't consider that a special insight on my part. I think anybody who's anybody knows it's happening. But
Yeah.
in the past, I would have been like, what the fuck is this stuff? And I would have taken some of my own ideas and said, oh, I can do this. But I was like, oh, nope, my ideas are, they're patoot. Leave them in the rowboat. I'm going to go try to build me a sailboat here in my 11th hour.
Little fiefdom, little 11th hour fiefdom that you're in.
Yeah, so I won't be able to get reincarnated to that Wednesday night when the PC arrived, and
None
I
of us.
stayed up all night through Thursday morning.
None of us will.
So I got to pick it up here. I don't know what this is. I think this is like Lifetime 7, Lifetime. I wonder if it's going to be roughly analogous to Cats. Like, will I have 9 lifetimes before
I hope I don't. Because
well, there
was
are
hard
there's
enough.
like the Iron Age, the Bronze Age,
It was hard enough getting through what I've gotten through to this point.
the
So
Plastic Age, the Dark Age. I have ages in my life
I'm
that
trying. This goes back to the Roku. I'm not sacrificing anything because I've gone through. I've been to the gates of hell and back, and so now it is all about comfort. In my twilight years, I guess.
well, you know what would appear in my top 10
What would appear?
list of gadgets? One would be this amazing device over here that boop, auto senses when I come into a dark room and turns on.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It costs pennies. Another one would be the Roku. The Roku is a magnificent piece of equipment. So there.
All right.
If you had a Roku, you could sail through life. And it does YouTube.
I'm a power boater.
That was a really good comeback. That was a really good comeback.
I
Oh
am. I'm a power
God.
boater, man.
Well, JD, I'm really happy you're considering getting a sail. Where'd he go? All
Oh
I see
God,
is his
I
weight.
missed that life. I had that life when I was a power boater back in the '80s. I missed that. I missed that life so much.
And you didn't die. You didn't get drunk and
I
die.
didn't die. No, didn't die. Learned how to water ski though.
Oh, I like water skiing.
Yeah, yeah.
I never owned a powerboat. Did you own a powerboat?
I had part ownership for 2 years when I lived in Fairfax.
Did you own
When
the
I
front half or the back half?
I had the middle half where we stored the beer.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
My roommates, man, shout out to my roommates that year. That's the year we lived. That's the year I actually met Doug Williams of the Washington Redskins. I lived next door to Alvin Walton. And when they won the Super Bowl against Denver, they threw a party. Doug came and I got to meet him. Those were the roommates that I owned a boat with, man. And Friday and Saturday, we were hell on earth. Sunday, not so much because my roommate had his girlfriend come down from Pittsburgh and he would take her out on Sunday. And so Sunday was her day. So a lot more reserved on Sundays than we were on Friday, Saturday.
It sounds like a good plan.
It was. And I can't remember the lake we used to go. It was down in Virginia.
Lake Anna?
Huh?
Lake Anna? Smith Mountain Lake?
No, not Smith Mountain. It might have been Lake Anna.
Yeah, I remember motorboating at a lake in Virginia. It was either Lake Anna or Smith Mountain Lake or something.
Yeah, it had to be Lake Anna. And then, of course, I grew up young years in Annapolis. And so I had a lot of relatives with boats in Annapolis. So I really missed that life. So I just have the memories now because I stay on the dock now.
That's it for you, fella. Memories.
That's it. Memories. That's all I got. That is all I
Like the
got.
corner of my mind. See, that's the third song I've come up with.
Third
just
song.
Single word. God.
You mentioned terminal velocity. It reminded me of something. I got to go back to football because I saw
Your
this.
butt kicked?
I saw this week. And it made me think, would I ever do that? No, I wouldn't do that. And it would, I'm trying to remember where I saw it. I think it was just during they had all these programs for the NFL during the preseason and stuff. Jimmy G of the Raiders got an opportunity through some event. He
Is
got an
that the brothel? Oh, keep going. I have a different one.
Jimmy G, the quarterback of the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm well aware. He was offered a lifetime membership at a Las Vegas brothel.
He is Mr. Handsome, so I don't blame them for offering him that. But no,
You
he
ever heard
had
the expression "the rich get richer"?
that's Jimmy. That would be
We
Jimmy
were just
G.
talking about sailing through life.
I guess it was.
Sure, Jimmy G, you're having trouble getting girls. You can
There
come to the
was
brothel anytime you want.
right.
For free.
There was some event that created this opportunity for Jimmy G to go up in a Air Force fighter jet, in the back seat, of course. And the jet, the pilot took Jimmy up, and it was just, I can't remember the event and the reason, but he took Jimmy G up, and they hit 9Gs.
So Jimmy 9G.
Jimmy 9G. And so they asked him about it, obviously, when he came back down. They asked him if he passed out. He said, no, I didn't pass out, fortunately. But that story and all those depictions you see in the movie where your vision just narrows because you're at 9G, that is true. And I'm like, there's no way in hell I would do that, man.
Have you ever lost consciousness in sports?
I've come close. I've come close.
I was playing
really close.
when I played rugby. We were at Old Dominion University. It was an away game, so we're down there playing them. And before the game, they're like, "God, look at that guy." I'm like, "Who is that guy?" He's on the other team. I'm like, "Oh, he's on the practice squad for an NFL team. He's a linebacker." And we're like, "Fuck, stay away from him."
Right.
So during the game, I was an end. So I've got the ball. I'm going. Yeah, baby, looking good. And somebody wrapped up my legs. And the last thing I remember seeing is this guy.
Right.
And I woke up about, a minute later. So he wrapped up my legs, and the other guy, ow,
so
hit
much
me
for
like
your
a fucking football player. If he did that to me today, I would snap in half.
So
All
much
he
for your
did was knock me unconscious.
right. So much for your football career.
Rugby.
Your rugby career.
No,
People,
everybody in rugby got something at some point.
People don't know, man, how and again, you remember I grew up, or not grew up, but I used to live, I talked about Alvin Walton and meet Doug Williams, and I also lived in Centerville, where I had Washington Redskins back then.
They're
as
big.
my name.
They're big.
Whew. And
They're
even
not.
they're even.
Have you ever heard the expression "human scale"?
Yeah.
They're not human scale.
No.
Once you go past like 220, and you're not fat, because there's a difference. If you, I mean, you can be 6'1" and go to 2. You could be 6'3" and go to 280, for instance.
Yeah.
But if you get a person who's not fat and they're 280, it's not human scale. And wider, not necessarily taller, but just wider. And everything's just huge. And
they're even bigger on a basketball court.
I've had that experience where I'm in the stands, you're watching the Ants play, and you walk down, you're like,
yeah,
it's so different down here.
And I got a front row seat to that. He was my neighbor, and I got to know him, so I'm going to call him a friend. I think he's still in coaching now. He was. I don't know if he's retired, but back then Washington had I think he played guard, Ray Brown. Ray Brown was 6'5", 310 pounds, zero body fat.
Out of this world.
Zero. And when you see that coming down the lane of a basketball court, here you go, brother.
Well,
there you go.
The guy who hit me was no slouch, but of course he's only on the practice squad, so he's no Ray Brown. But
yeah, Ray was.
I would have weighed 185. He probably weighed 225.
And I say zero body fat. How does Marlon know that? Did he weigh Ray? No. Ray invited me to a Halloween costume party. He went as Tarzan, So he have a shirt on. There was no body fat on that.
Oh, he was
305.
almost certainly single-digit body fat.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Great dude, though. Great dude. Really respect. I really loved
It was easy for him to be a great dude. He's like
the closest friend of that period in Centerville was the kicker Chip Lowmiller. Chip and we used to hang out on his day off. Great buddies, great guy.
Oh my God.
But I wouldn't go up in a plane and hit 9Gs. I wouldn't do that.
I would.
No, hell
It'd be
no.
the last thing I do because I'd hit my 9 lives.
I say this all the time. If God wanted me to hit 9Gs, I'd have wings. I don't have wings. I don't have wings. So as we talked about yesterday, going all the way back to 1492, God didn't give me wings, so he wants me right here on the ground where I am.
1452.
1452. He wants me right.
All Saracens, aka infidels, and any other indigenous peoples are to be subjugated and put in slavery. Yep. 1452.
We don't have wings, so I don't worry about flying. There you have it.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Pearls of wisdom from yours truly.
Oh yeah, I would characterize all of
I
these.
don't have gills either, so I wouldn't go on a submarine. I don't have gills, so I wouldn't go in a submarine and go down to the Titanic either. We've talked about that.
Well, you know what? I was glad when that left the news.
Yes.
I haven't thought about it since it finally left the news. But yeah, every time you make mention of it, there's a nanosecond. You're like, ooh.
Speaking of leaving the news,
news.
My good friend Kimberly Johnson. Shout out to Kimberly on Twitter, who we tried to, wanted her to come on to the podcast.
Yeah, and she was busy.
She is busy.
Not because we're absolutely minuscule. Actually,
well, that too.
If I were to do my actual size as a podcaster, how tiny would it be?
Keep going.
We are looking at each other from the moon.
To be fair, she is busy. I can tell.
I know. I'm making a joke.
But and she liked the tweet response I gave her. I think it was yesterday. I said, Kimberly, we talked about this very subject on our podcast episode this morning, and I said I cannot wait until the day Vic Salami Boy gets tossed into the bin with Herschel Walker so we can forget about his ignorant ass and move on. And she was like, Marlon, amen. Absolutely.
What did she say about Vivek Ramaswamy on her podcast?
It was a tweet about how ignorant he was, if I remember right.
Oh, so you guys are brothers in ignorance. In other words, as an explanatory situation.
How about we react to Ramalama Ding Dong?
Ramaswamy.
I like that name, man. I'm gonna have to steal that.
Vivek Ramaswamy is definitely
Vivek Ramalama Ding Dong in the appropriate way and treat him like the pariah he is, rather than treating him like an accident we have to stop and look at and hold up all the traffic. She's 100% right. She's 100% right.
She's 100% right. But the thing is that even before he appeared, you would have looked at the Republican Party and you would have said, all right, let's look into the future. And you'd slot in different people and there'd be an empty slot. And be like, what goes in there? It'd be like the token person of color. In other words, Vivek Ramaswamy is following a well-worn path that the GOP embraces them for a finite period of time. And I mean, the GOP is like an organism that just moves together, kind of like the board.
I got it. I'm talking about.
So they're gonna float him up and they're gonna drop him down.
And we'll drop kick him in the bin and never to be heard from again, like Herschel Walker. I cannot.
Well, the only thing was you and I differed on this, and you know where I'm going.
Yeah, I do. But he is going to be. Listen. He is going to be drop kicked into that bin, and he is going to be the new Herschel Walker.
All right. So we did the Trump, but that didn't happen. Vivek in 28. Marlon says no. JD says yes.
I'll get my
So,
chili dog. I'll
get
get my
your chili dog futures here.
Yes, get my. Why is Dan Snyder trending? I don't even want to know.
Oh, you don't want to know.
No, I don't.
I would assume he kicked a dog or something.
I don't know.
He is an evil.
I do want to celebrate.
I'm not done yet. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Evil.
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Yes.
And you know what makes him doubly, triply, quadruply evil?
What?
He has security.
Money.
He has health.
Money.
He's clearly in a relationship.
Money.
What the fuck does he have to worry about?
Nothing.
What the fuck does he have to worry about? Why does he have to behave like a starving rodent?
Because that's what they do.
Trapped at the bottom of a trash pail.
Because that's what they do.
That just irritates the fuck out of me.
That's what they do.
I mean, like if somebody says so-and-so crossed the Rio Grande in an attempt to come to the U.S., I'm like, I would do that. If I was impoverished and threatened by gangs, I would do my best to get myself, and if I had a family, I'd try to get us to the United States. So if somebody says we don't want immigrants, I'm like, I understand that, but I have some empathy and respect for the decision that they're making. So for some reason, I haven't thought about Dan Snyder in a while, which is why, and I'll wrap this up now. When you mentioned his name, it was like just a wave of disgust and nausea. I hate that.
This tweet, this is not going to make you feel any better. This tweet is from JPA Football Twitter account. Update, and I'm reading you a direct quote. There is no possibility of the Commanders changing their name back to the Redskins, per team president Jason Wright. It is not being considered, period.
I'm okay with that.
I am too. Leave it.
It's history.
Leave the past where it is. I know.
It's history. It's over. Listen, it's done. Don't redo it.
Listen, I get it. I know people don't think I get it.
I still call them Redskins or commies. I call them commies or Redskins.
I know people don't think I get it. I truly get it. All right.
What people don't think you get it? You get everything.
Yes, I do. But there are people who don't think that I get it. I do. I understand.
Where'd you go?
That marketing departments are full of young people who wouldn't have a thought in their fucking brain if you inserted a thought in their fucking brain. So they don't have the ability.
Why do you set me off like this?
They don't have the ability to come up with anything new.
Come on. It is tough to come up with new shit when every single word is taken. Like if you went out, you're like, I'd like to register a letter of the alphabet for my website. It was gone back in the 90s.
Marketing departments.
I interrupted. You were making a point. It's irrespective whether they're young or not.
Marketing department people don't have the capacity or brain power or thought process in their brains to come up with a fart in the wind, which is why they are remaking.
Fart in the wind. Go with that.
Which is why they are remaking everything that has been done before them. With respect to the Commanders and the Washington Redskins, I've said this from day one, leave the past where the hell it is, get some smart people in a room, and Rich Eisen of the NFL Network, he said this before the sale even went down. If you want to reconnect with your fan base, run a full page ad, ask the fans to submit what they think the name should be, and take all that input and see if you get something that actually sticks. Because clearly you have marketing people that don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's not an original idea, but it doesn't need to be because it's a good idea. It's a
It's good. It's a
universal,
great idea.
perpetual, infinite, normal, standard, run-of-the-mill,
Yes.
good
Yes.
idea.
Yes. I personally would have stayed with the Washington football team. The Commanders is stupid. But I'm having fun calling the Commodores and saying that they win Grammys. So I don't give a damn what
Well,
they.
you know, they could have gone with Washington team football, which would have been what
Football team, Washington football team.
yeah, but no, but I mean, they could have had WTF. So on the side of the helmet, would be like, what the WTF?
Oh,
I like that one.
that's not bad. That's not bad.
Washington team football is in the end zone. What? He fumbled. What the
Uh,
fuck?
I want to give another. I don't know if this is a shout out. This is more of a kudos.
Well, again, on the bright side,
You know what I
there's
love?
absolutely nobody listening to us right now because
know
we're
what-
in space alone. So you can
Alone
do
in
whatever you
space.
want.
You know what I love? Let me tell you what I love, and some people are probably going to hate me for this.
I hate you. I hate you for this.
I love when certain, and by certain, I mean 38% of white people, when their sense of entitlement, their sense of privilege because they are white, I love when they fuck around and find out. And I am talking specifically about Joseph Biggs, Proud Boy, who just got hammered in court for January 6th and received a 17-year sentence.
Here's my fourth retrospective song. It could happen to you. Die.
Yes.
I am so happy about all of those.
You've got a long time. You've got a long time to sit in a cell and figure out how you let your life derail like that. And I'm happy. I'm here fucking for it.
Thumbs up, man.
Yes. And we ain't done. Let's keep the counter rolling. We ain't done. Because you've heard me say on our podcast, I was as impacted on January 6th as I was on 9/11.
That was an excellent conversation.
It's true.
That was an excellent conversation.
It's very true. And I never thought I would ever be impacted by anything like I was on 9/11. January 6th, watching that, it's hard for me to put into words what I felt that day watching that. And I'm a guy who is very comfortable using a lot of different words.
I'm dredging stuff up, but not at length, just touching the tip of it. As you know, we agree philosophically, so January 6th was a fucking tragedy.
Yes.
So we agree philosophically, we have the same general political leanings, the same general wishes for the future in terms of progressive, what would be considered liberal policies. So we agree on everything. But whether it's because you're black and I'm white, or you're on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast, or you're young and I'm old, I don't know what the reason is, but we look at things differently.
We're both old.
And what brought me to this is I know that I have marveled in the past because you tend to start a sentence, you'll say, I can't believe, comma, and then you'll say it. And it just dawned on me when you were talking about January 6th, you don't say that as much as you used to. Because I was like, because I felt like there was a difference in our worldviews because it didn't surprise me. In other words, it was like a shock, but once it happened, I'm like, oh, yeah, how the fuck have we avoided it this long? It's kind of like, why don't more people die on the highway? I mean, when you think about it, you go driving, you're traveling around to 70 miles an hour, people are weaving in and out, and nobody dies that day. Somebody will die. But it's a miracle that we actually coexist with all of this crap going on. So there's a point at which it's going to manifest, which is what happened on January 6th.
Yes.
And I look at it and I don't start sentences with "I can't believe" or something like that. It's like, fucking finally it unfortunately happened.
That ship has long since sailed.
Yeah, nothing surprises.
Uh-oh, my internet connection is unstable. Woo, from the
Oh, yeah,
moon.
I'll say. So your internet connection has been
Because I'm between
customized. It's been
I'm,
customized for your psyche.
I'm between the moon and New York City, and I'm getting a bad signal. Um, I and having grown up with law enforcement in my family, there are law enforcement people that I follow on Twitter who were there, who are still recovering from injuries from that day. And I'm so happy for them that justice is being served. It's taking, and it will continue to take cycles. But Joseph Biggs is an example. Um, I'm sorry, man. I just, because the reference about him 17 years. I'm looking at the tweet is from Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says he needs to be pardoned. All January Sixers need to be pardoned. We've got to get her out of Congress. I would prefer we get her off the face of the planet, but we can't do that. So let's just get her out of Congress.
Well, she lives in a district somewhere in Georgia. So if you go to Georgia and you go door to door, are you voting for Marjorie Taylor Greene? They'll go, yeah, buddy, I'm voting for Marjorie. Marjorie's my gal.
And your IQ, you
Ooh.
mind if I ask you, your IQ is box of crayons. Where is it? There you are. Here, we're going to leave this with you. So you can go into the booth and vote for her, and just know that
Actually, you know, they fill out the little voting form with what? Crayons.
Crayons.
They don't have pens or pencils down there. Just have fucking crayons.
And then I saw a report. I don't know why this was news, but it is. Well, I know why it's news, because it was the Fulton County Jail. Apparently, there was an uprising. Apparently, a person was killed. Apparently, a person.
I don't want to get killed in prison.
Several people were injured, and so they were sharing this story about concerns of the indictees going to jail. This is what jail is. This is what happens in
now,
prison.
is that a jail or a prison?
Jail. But this
jail?
is
so this is a Fulton County jail, which is a precursor to a penitentiary.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
This is what happens there.
So you're saying even the
this
JV, you can die playing on the JV squad.
This is why you don't commit crime. So you don't be so you're not subjected to being, worst case, killed in prison. Yes. This is why you don't do it.
Well, on the bright side, they will be anonymous when they go into that environment. Not.
No, they won't.
Be like,
no, they won't.
Is that Trump? He looks different with his head shaved.
He looks 215 pounds, though.
Is some poor Secret Service dude gonna have to go into prison with Trump as a cellmate?
Who's lining up for that?
It's an open-ended question.
I think,
especially if he's president. If he's president, he'll have Secret Service in the cell with him.
For sure, he's going to be at a minimum, I would say, first 12 months of his sentence, should that transpire, will be spent in protective custody, which is an even bigger bullseye on your back.
I don't follow protective custody.
Isolation. So they're not going to put him in gin pop right away.
Okay.
He'll be in protective custody. So whether or not
he might remain there all his natural born days.
Yeah, he just may. Because you can't put him in gin pop. Are you kidding? Do you know what would happen to him?
I don't know.
I would pay that. I would get a Roku and pay pay-per-view to see.
Yeah. It's just an unpleasant thought from tip to tail.
Well, he should
I
have
do
thought
want him
about
incarcerated, but
he should have
I
thought about that before trying to overthrow democracy.
yeah. Anytime it's something that could happen to me, like I could go to the penitentiary. I don't know why I would. I have debts, but they're unsecured debts, stuff like that. I don't think I've broken any laws. If I have, I'm not aware of it. But there's still an outside possibility, between 0 and 1. It's a non-zero chance that I could end up in the penitentiary. So I think it's karmatic. It's problematic karmatic to speculate or wish ill on anybody in a situation that you yourself might encounter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In a fortune cookie. Not.
If you don't want to go to prison, don't commit the crime.
Yeah, if you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime.
Pretty straightforward.
Okay. Just in closing, did Letitia James bring yet another lawsuit?
I think she is. I don't know that it's been bought, but I think that she is.
Or is it like an amendment or an addendum to an existing one? I got the impression it was different than the one that was brought by Alvin Bragg, but I wasn't crystal clear on it. I'll have to go research that before I start blabbing about it.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at that too. I'm not, I gotta be honest, I'm not up on that one, but I know that she was, I heard rumblings that something was coming in addition from her. So, maybe that would
The number I cited was a 2 billion plus delta in representations made within a single year between the valuation and the tax base. And then their defense is, well, the loans that were secured at that inflated valuation have all been paid back. I don't know if that's a defense or not, but.
I was looking to see if I could see it real quick, and I didn't. What I did see is a tweet from the Washington Commodores. Their home opener is sold out. I don't know the last time
That is wonderful. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm
not going because the last time I went, it was a fucking madhouse.
I don't know the last time that's happened.
Bunch of inebriated souls.
I'm going to assume that the sellout means they've untarped the seats that were tarped and sold them.
Oh, it may not, but this is the post-Snyder era. If it was the Snyder era and they said they were sold out, and you said, does that mean the tarps are still there? I'd say
the tarps are still there. Yeah,
yeah. If it was Snyder, but this is possibly the real deal.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Tim Scott's marital status? Just in closing, I wanted to ask you that.
In closing, Tim Scott's marital status, I would have to say that just off the cuff, I don't give a shit about Tim Scott's marital status because I don't give a shit about Tim Scott. So I would sum it up like that. I don't give a rat's ass about Tim Scott. He's another one that
Would you give a rat's ass about a single candidate?
No. He's another one I cannot wait until we flick into the ash bin like Herschel Walker.
The thing about Tim Scott that bothers me is I think
he's a houseboy.
He can't possibly say in private what he maintains in public.
No.
And it wouldn't be a function of race either. It'd just be a function.
My favorite.
Dude, are you not seeing what's right under your nose?
Yes, he's seeing it. He's lying.
That's what I'm saying. I think he is behaving badly.
You know my favorite GIF that I use with my nemesis on Twitter, and I've sent him that GIF many, many, many times. Oh, Trump is not funding any of his co-defendants in the Georgia case.
Apparently in Area 1.
Area 1.
Jenna Ellis is in there, right?
Yep.
She's the one who's been bitching the most. She's picked up $160K from her GoFundMe.
Woohoo! You just keep right on going.
Well,
You
he
just
must
keep
have some
right on going.
anticipation they're going to remove to federal court or something.
They're not moving that to federal court. That argument is so weak, and I'm not even a legal guy. That argument is so weak.
Well, since I'm not a lawyer and I don't know, I'm not going to say that. I don't have an opinion.
I
I'm
do.
just waiting to see.
It's a weak friggin' argument.
I mean,
We
he
know what
came
your
for it out of
role
the
is.
pack anyway.
We know
I
what your
can't.
role. We know what your role is in the federal government. This has nothing to do with your role. This has everything to do with you breaking the law at the state level.
I don't know why he decided not to cover them. Maybe it's because there's so fucking many. There were 18 of them.
Everything he touches dies. So there you go.
Still, I would be interested in hearing the conversation where the decision was made to support none of them in area one. Now, a lot of them are so far out in the weeds that it really doesn't matter. So, like some of the fake electors and stuff.
It probably went something like this. They're very fine people, but fuck them.
Hey, I have a question. Did you have a hard stop at 10?
I did. It's 10:03.
It's 1:03 here.
In the afternoon. What do you got going for Labor Day? Do anything fun?
I want to get to the pool. I want to replace the stringer on our basement steps.
Last hurrah at the pool.
I really want to replace the stringer. It's split. Every time you walk down it, it's like
I went down to get
die.
coffee. I went down to get coffee, and I got the update from my better half. Flowers have been sent to this person for anniversary of this person passing. Flowers sent to this person for that anniversary of passing. Money sent to Cal for Labor Day weekend. Money sent to my sister for this.
Is she
Everything.
managing all of this?
Yeah.
So your social outreach and is all managed by your significant other.
Yeah. I don't have to do anything. I'm not a social guy.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
History repeats.
Yes.
If it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't exist.
I love her because she, unlike me, she cares to the point that she makes the effort. Where Marlon will just go to Facebook and go, "Happy anniversary."
Well, you're still a better man than I am. As you know, I don't track birthdays or anything.
Facebook, that's the only purpose I have for Facebook, birthdays. So every morning I see whose birthday it is and I go, "Hey, happy birthday, hope all's well." Yeah,
I have a very few people that I remember and sometimes actually remember in time. So
well, I remember her, obviously, I can't forget her, and my son, who's coming up next month, turning 25 next month. Where does the time go, man? We're old.
It went that way.
We're old. Dude, we've had a really good week. Great conversation. I'm trying to get us out here on time because we're right at about an hour. We're trying to get us out on time.
At an hour.
We wish everyone a great, safe Labor Day weekend. Safe being the key operative there. Enjoy yourselves.
I love it.
Enjoy yourselves. I of course will be caught between the moon and New York City, and hopefully I'll be back. Hopefully I'll be back next week for our continuing episodes of First World Third Rails. We'll have, I think, quite a few third rails next week as things progress in Georgia, whatever comes out of New York. And January 6th keeps rolling right along. We just talked about how I was impacted watching January 6th unfold. I do feel a sense of justice with what's happening and how people are being held accountable. That does give me a sense of justice.
Well, just in closing, emphasizing what you were talking about, it was a watershed moment. I generally think pre and post January 6th.
Yeah. Me too.
And it's not so much that I think things changed, more so they were revealed. That
Yes. Yes.
that's
The curtain got pulled back.
yes.
Yeah.
Like in The Wizard of Oz when Toto pulls the curtain, it's like
Yep. 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 That's what happened.
you knew something was going on, but you didn't know what it was.
That
and
is
then
exactly
boom.
what happened. But we will continue that third rail next week because it's the third rail that keeps on giving.
Amen. All right, bud. We can
We're
travel
on
that rail to the
anytime.
moon.
We can hit terminal velocity on that anytime.
Anytime.
We're on Twitter. His mama call him Twitter. Name him Twitter. I'm gonna call him Twitter. We're still on Spoutable and on YouTube. We're gonna expand soon. Stay with us, folks. We'll expand.
Oh, we are?
Find us, like us, listen to us, love us, hate us, comment on us, but most of all, please subscribe to us.
Absolutely.
Love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
Have a great holiday weekend, man.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.